Now, we understand that as global supply chains diversify and geopolitical priorities shift, India is positioning itself as a critical node for tech infrastructure, and we know that wherever industry goes, hospitality follows. For now, India's hotel market today is no longer defined by single entry strategy. Rewriting the playbook New Paths into India's hotel market brings together leaders who are actively exploring new gateways into India's hospitality opportunity, redefining development approaches for a rapidly evolving market. Ladies and gentlemen, one more time, let's give a big round of applause and welcome our panelists onto the stage. We have Mr. Nicholas Smith, Mr. Rohit Dar, Mr. Santhosh, Raman, Kutty, and to masterfully steer the conversation, being joined by Amit, Ranjan from HVS ANAROCK.
Good evening, everyone. Good evening.
Good evening.
Oh, very interesting topic we are covering here. Rewriting the playbook with the diversified brands as well. Traditionally, India has seen hotels which have always carried a tagline, home away from home, which has been there since ages, since the time we were in hotel school. Interestingly, last 7, 8 years, 9 years, I think the shift has been there. Post-pandemic, it's only accelerated. So we have Nick. I think we'll start with Nick. Nick, would want to understand from you, Minor right now operating, I guess, about 600 plus hotels globally, growing at a certain pace. In India, what is the strategy operationally? Where do you see the challenges? And what's the guest segment or the customer segment that basically you are looking to target at?
Oh, thanks for having me, and great question. And obviously not as easy maybe to answer in the short period of time. I think most importantly, Minor is very happy to be in India, having had his first hotel open. And now we see great opportunity, but with the 12 brands that we've brought rather than just the one of Anantara. And I see that being a real strategic advantage with all of the conversations were just in the last panel explaining to us that there is going to be a massive demand and a massive opportunity. And with the portfolio of brands, we bring choice and also the business models that we plan to do them in and that we are experienced in. Being an operator that runs our own businesses and comes from the entrepreneurial background of Bill Heineke, through to where we are today with 3 equal thirds of the way in which we operate, and also are not afraid of lease, franchise, manchise, management, and obviously owner, and obviously strategic joint ventures. So I think that's the most exciting part of India, and having come here 30 years ago and seeing it grow the way that it's grown, it is genuinely an excitement that all of the teams that we're building here are looking forward to accessing and working on. I think operationally, there are unique opportunities in the market. I don't necessarily believe that the treat you as home opportunity is in demand anymore. And I think that there are lifestyle brands and there are mid-scale brands that are very, very lucrative and attractive to the market here in India. And I believe there's probably one of the major areas that is currently lacking, especially in 2nd, 3rd, and 4th tier cities, as we've discussed through this conference. And it's been reassuring to know that we've identified the right things. Lastly, obviously, the customer is a worldly customer now. The internet, AI, whatever it may be, has actually made it much easier for them to understand what they want and what their persona is, and we have to tap into that and make sure that we're putting the right property in the right place with the right brand on the door moving forward. So in a nutshell, I hope that answers it.
Yes, absolutely. Good and great insight into what Miner is looking at. And Rohit, we'll come to you uh, from Ascott. So Ascott traditionally and globally has been a very recognized brand in the service department and long stay space. So where do you think, is it going to outperform the traditional conventional hotel space in India in the long run? Do you think that for the long stays, post-pandemic, has there been any kind of shift in customer perception or how the market is taking?
Yeah, there seem to be three questions there right now. But I'll try and just, first let's talk about Ascott, right? I mean, yes, traditionally everyone sees it as a service residence brand. And I think, true to what you said, it has been like that for many years. But I think we've seen a shift in the last 6 years, strategic shift, where the vision is that, and that's the strength that we are bringing to the table, which is that we are focusing on being a flex hybrid model. And I'll explain that a little later. But so we do traditional service residences, and service residences, of course, typically would be, large format, may have a kitchen or a kitchenette, may have washing machine and dryer in the room. That's the typical format, right? Whereas a traditional hotel format is a simple room, minibar, tea, coffee making facility. So we have been traditionally that, but we've been moving into a lot of flexibility. So it's not so much about the format that we're trying to follow, it's about the demand that exists. The owner need, the demand that exists in the market. So in markets, for example, we have some hotels like in Chennai and Bangalore, where 40 to 50% of our business is over 30 nights. Now in a market like that, if you would come to another hotel, we would definitely need to have a lot more one-bedroom, two-bedroom apartments. But at the same time, having only those takes away the short stay demand. And we want to be clear that we want to be not one size, we want to fit for all travel demands. And that's something that we are looking at actively. So whether it's business, leisure, short stay, long stay, solo, family, groups, we're wanting to do everything. And that's the focus at this point of time.
Interesting.
And sorry, your question about long stay.
Right, I was coming to that.
I think there has been an increase. We've seen it. We have 2 hotels right now whose average length of stay is 8 nights. Length of stay, eight nights. That's quite a lot. And that's grown from pre-pandemic to post-pandemic. Right? I think that shift has happened. Working from anywhere as a concept, project-based movements. People who are wanting to move out from a lifestyle perspective. I think all that is changing the narrative. Fundamentally, there's been a shift after the pandemic.
So another question to you in terms of the customer behavior. Do you see the long stay format growing at the same pace in the leisure markets as to what you have been doing in larger metro cities as of now?
So from experience of Ascott, I can only comment on Goa. And Goa is currently, from a hotel perspective, largely a transient market. So 5% of the business is over 30 night stay, so you're right. But I think that it's also a question of where the market is. I mean, there would be some markets that would have a higher rate, but it's not so much at this point of time. But interestingly, I'll tell you something, we have 1-bedroom and 2-bedroom apartments in our city deans in Goa. The one that sells more faster is not the 1-bedroom, it's the 2-bedroom. And it's not 2 families, it's 2 groups wanting to stay together. So it's very interesting.
That's a context I wanted to get because I think post-pandemic we've seen a spur in this villa stay model, so where actually people have started taking into larger groups, 3-bedroom, 4-bedroom villas with all kind of amenities in place like the pool and all. So that's what I wanted to understand.
Actually a very interesting question, and I will start it, but maybe finish with Santhosh, because we were having a conversation earlier, and I was telling about how wonderful the Airbnb market in Gurgaon is. And everyone wants to do Airbnb villas. And he said, you'd be surprised what the percentage of occupancy in Goa is. So it might just be a misconception as to how well everyone's doing.
Interesting. So, Santhosh, coming to you, I think Mahindra Holidays for us, since ages, has been the leader in the vacation ownership space in South Asia. I think we have only known Club Mahindra in the timeshare space. Uh, so I think there's a very fine line between what Ascott is probably doing and the timeshare model also that you're operating, because you also have segments in terms of the studio units, one-bedroom units, two-bedroom units. So my question to you would rather be to understand how do you really retain the customer loyalty here with 25, 30 years of legacy, and you have, I think, a membership base of more than 3 lakhs as of now. So I think that is something for all of us to learn. So there's a captive 3 lakh membership audience, family audience, in fact, with Mahindra Holidays. And now we see, after almost 3 decades, Club Mahindra, as a format, venturing out into something very, very different. So where is it actually going to take the brand?
Thank you. Thank you for having me and bringing Mahindra Holidays onto the stage. So, as you said, Mahindra Holidays is about 3 decades old, 300,000, we say, member families. Like you said, I think the right word is they're members. They're members with us from 10 years to 25 years. We are a vacation ownership company. We own and operate about 60 resorts. We are only in the leisure space. Now, what this brings to us is deep insights into how customers behave in a club rather than in hotels. That's very, very different. How should our associates handle them? We have learned that over a period of time. So when I went from traditional hospitality to vacation ownership has always been a black hole. Even 90% of the crowd probably do not understand, appreciate what vacation ownership does. Just for a minute, I will explain. Vacation ownership is a model where we are able to bring in capital in advance, obviously at no interest, build resorts using that capital, provide holidays to members over a long period of time, giving them subscription holidays, so to say, at great value for families. Now, what does it do? It gives you habits. We have known families, we have the second generation of holidayers who have grown up in Club Mahindra, having visited destinations because they've had Club Mahindra membership. What are we doing now? We are upgrading, we're spending about 700-800 crores in upgrading our resorts, transforming our resorts across the entire portfolio. We are upgrading our service levels. That's happening over the next 3 to 4 years. On the other hand, we are venturing into luxury resorts with what we have announced as Mahindra Signature Resorts. Now, this is a move which has been years in the making, a very, very purposeful move. See, I don't know if people know, we are probably number 3 or number 4 in terms of leisure inventory in this country. With 300,000 families holidaying with us, we have a deep moat. We have a right to win in leisure. We have about 5,000 people working with us. Whether you talk about technology, whether we talk about people, whether we talk about customer behavior, we have studied this, we know this, we have a lot of customer data. That enables us to have that right to win in leisure. That's what we are bringing into the luxuries resorts business, because we think, let me tell you one other thing that we are bringing. These 300,000 members is a moat because that is distribution. That is inventory which actually can be your base occupancy. With that being on our side, we are now venturing into Mahindra luxury resorts. Those are luxury resorts. That's what we are planning, and you'll see the brand being announced, the detail of that in some time to come.
So these luxury resorts, will they also be open to your members, or is it only going to go for, you'll be actually selling it at them as a more of a conventional luxury resort?
They are conventional luxury resorts. Our members can access them with an access fee. Members are not signed up for luxury resorts, so hence it's a different brand, a different setup, but they can access it with an access fee. So, but our mainstay is going to be conventional resort guests. That's really what we are gunning after.
So does that also means that during the downturns that typically you see, we had one recently during the pandemic, will that make the existing model, what you have, I estimate that it's already very resilient, because I think very limited impact you have on your P&Ls. So that also translate to the luxury format, because they will be able to, your members will be able to access it through the fee, the additional fee that they'll pay.
So currently our model is very resilient. During COVID, I remember, we had in that year almost 60% occupancy. Which hotel company, which resort company had that? We did have it because of our membership model. We will bring some of that. That might be base occupancy, which makes it more resilient. When we operate for property owners, which means that we will be able to drive better yields for property owners. That's what we will bring on the table.
So Rohit, the next one is actually for you.
Can I just say something before we move ahead?
Yeah, sure. Absolutely.
It was a good point, and when I was outside Ascott, I didn't know this, but I walked in, I was very happy to know that our properties in Chennai and Hyderabad were running 60% occupancy during the pandemic. So there was some.
Very good.
Absolutely. So from a format perspective, what's that thin line between a conventional hotel and the service department format that you have? I mean, what's the actual difference from a customer perspective?
I think those lines are evolving very quickly. I think if you look around today, and like I said earlier, I'll use it again, the word, I don't think it's more about formats today, it's about demand drivers. So you see hotels getting into extended stay spaces.
You mean to say that customers are very flexible, or they look at,
I think the customer, what the customer needs is what most of us are beginning to provide. So whether it's hotels moving into extended stay spaces, or whether it's traditional service residents moving into elevating their service levels or food and beverage, or getting more hotel-like facilities, I think that evolution is taking place. And that's the most important thing to happen right now.
Noted. So Nick, we'll come to you now. Got almost, I guess, about 14 brands in the portfolio.
12.
12, sorry. So I think in total about, in India right now, you're operational with one Anantara, right? So from your experience, since Minor as a brand is a pretty new entrant in the Indian hotel space, what are the typical operational challenges possibly you would have seen in the last 1 or 2 years?
Well, I think our experience in the market, because if I can rewind slightly, we're used to the Indian consumer in a lot of our other markets. So in Asia, it makes up the second largest contributing market. So we're quite familiar on the leisure side of things, on the corporate side of things, and obviously maybe on special events and weddings. So we've brought that, and we have an acute understanding, and we've developed those products in tandem in Jaipur, for example, in Anantara Jaipur, to a great success, knowing that was a rich opportunity for the wedding market. And we've brought that, and we've seen great success in the first year, and had amazing weddings off the bat. I think in general, the understanding of the evolving Indian consumer is complex in some ways, but there is a basis to run it from, and depending on where you're planning to operate, that's where you need to work with your partners to make sure that you're placing exactly the right asset. And probably one of the bigger challenges today is addressing that. We have very acute, smart owners that we're working with. They know their business very, very well. They have aspirations, but we have to make sure that that aspiration fits what that market desires. And that's where we come in and give that expertise and use a lot of our portfolio throughout Asia where we have that knowledge and data to be able to help sculpt as we move forward.
So that is from the owner side. I would also want to understand how operationally India has surprised you in terms of your HR, local compliances, all those factors. I think it would have been real experience running a...
So I think we were talking about it earlier, just backstage. Talent is one of our biggest opportunities, and we've got amazing people operating here already. But we've also got a very, very large group of Indian employees that are working outside of India,
Yes.
and we're very
Yes.
happy to be bringing some of them back, and equally offering opportunities for the workforce to be able to go outside. So it's one of our maybe hidden advantages on that side of things that we have that already in place. So that came as more of a surprise of being able to attract the right talent. And obviously, there is a lot of demand for good operators. As in hotel staff, and that begins to cost more money. And I think that that's something that needs to be watched very cautiously.
Sure. So, Rohit, coming back to you, I think you have been on the hotel operations side, I guess, for the last 3.5 decades, if I'm not wrong.
Yes.
Yeah. So now with Ascott, do you think the country or India as a market is actually somewhere getting ready with the large stay or long stay formats?
Yes.
From a customer point of view.
Absolutely. I think there's definitely a demand. I think the important thing to understand is I don't think that there's an organized supply right now. So the supply is fragmented. So you've got long stay requirements, whether it's project-based, medical, for example, families wanting to stay. You have a lot of, especially urban destinations and even leisure, but more urban, you have where there are these guest houses, unbranded, right? So those exist already. I think the time is coming where people are going to start looking for more professional managed, trusted, brand-backed platforms and start to look at branded supply over a period of time. And I think that's where we fit in, Ascott. I mean, we've seen things, right? We've seen things move from tier 1 to tier 2 to tier 3 cities, and everyone's talking about tier 3, tier 4 cities. That wasn't in existence 10, 12 years back. I think the same thing's going to happen with the long stay fragmented market. I think we're going to see that happen. Even right now, Airbnbs, co-living spaces in urban destinations, where young professionals are looking at community-led living rather than these rigid spaces that they've been used to. So a lot of that is changing in India.
I actually, when we interact with a lot of hotel developers and owners, I think at times we find it difficult to explain to them in terms of, there's a lot of misconception around the long stay format. So they typically get confused that, they'll do a typical hotel room and they'll create an additional space, do more of a studio unit, and suddenly they start calling it a service department. So do you think, this misconception is going to go out someday, or, or possibly what steps Ascott could be taking to,
I truly hope so. I mean, I think just talking to people, like he mentioned about the vacation ownership, it's the same thing, I think, with service residences. I don't think everyone understands exactly what it is, what it can be. So I think there is scope for that misconception to be cleared, but it does exist.
Fair point. So, Santhosh, we'll basically want to understand from you the profitability mantra for hotels. I think Mahindra Holidays as a format has been a very, very, you know, profitable kind of a format for so many years. So you know, one mantra possibly which can be adapted to the conventional hotels to increase profitability from with a view on the membership business.
Okay, so when we look at members, whom we call them members, they are members in the truest sense, we don't look at one stay. We don't look at one holiday. We look at a lifetime of holidays. So could we look at, when we give the byword as lifetime value, but we actually look at that from a lifetime value because we have their lifetime holidays with us. We know their behaviors. Instead of thinking one holiday at a time, could we look at what could we do for this family over the next 15 years? Which destinations, what kind of experiences could we look at that? A better way to, from a business model perspective, I would say when you have subscription combined with conventional hospitality, and if you're able to think experience forward, I think we will get something going.
Okay, that's, I think, a good one. We have a time's up message. Nevertheless, I think we'll just do a quick rapid fire with all of you, just 2 questions each, and we'll wrap this up. Santhosh, in fact, we'll begin with you. One structural shift India must embrace.
India must embrace?
Embrace, yeah.
I will go back to what I said earlier. Subscription plus experience.
Okay.
Forward from, or the way forward is what I think.
Will the membership format or transient business grow faster in India?
Transient business will grow faster in volume. The membership provides stability, but it's not a question of either or. It's a question of, in my view, integrated hospitality business. That's what we are after.
Okay, thank you. Rohit, to you, one myth about long-stay hospitality?
That it's, I think a lot of people think it's price-driven. I think it's value-driven. Of course, price has a play in it, but it's more about what you give to the consumer.
Okay. Next 5 years, do you think Ascott will get positioned more as a hotel company than a service department company in terms of its identity in India?
I think one thing we're very clear on, we are a diversified hospitality living platform. We're not going to be looking at traditional labels. And like I said earlier, we're looking at the flex hybrid model. So whether it's hotel format, 1-bedroom studio, we'll be looking at everything largely led by the demand in the market and what the owner needs.
Thank you. Thank you, Rohit. So Nicholas, last but not the least, last 2 questions to you. One operating habit the industry must unlearn, the Indian hospitality industry.
Must unlearn?
Unlearn.
Unlearn.
Yes.
Great question. Following the norms and following the trends of old, and looking at towards the future. They should not they should unlearn the former part, not the latter.
Okay. Now, from Minus perspective, one bold bet on India's hospitality future.
A bold bet.
Bold bet.
I said this earlier in the day to somebody when I was talking, is that it's completely uncapped. And they asked me what that meant, is that at the moment, having come out of China for 12 years and seeing what I see today, it's incredibly exciting. And I genuinely think that we're in for quite an exciting 7 years to come. Yeah, and I don't believe that there's going to be a dip like people say.
Okay, that's great. So thank you, all of you, for your interesting quotes, and also sharing with us your views on the new models that we're looking at. And all the best to all of you. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.